Hello, this is Michael Tillinger. Welcome to the Ubuntu One Small Town Frequently Asked Questions set of videos, or the Q&A section. Now, before we get into the questions, I'd like to do this little introductory video just to bring you up to speed, and those that are not familiar with the One Small Town and Ubuntu's history and the philosophy of One Small Town, what it is that we're actually doing. What are our objectives? Because there are many people that have reached the wrong conclusions. There are many misconceptions and ideas that people reach just by watching a little bit of a video or reading a little bit here, and then people often jump to their own conclusions and reach completely different conclusions than what it is that we're actually doing with the Ubuntu movement and how we've evolved into embracing and promoting the One Small Town philosophy. So before we start, what is it that we're trying to achieve? We're trying to create communities of abundance and prosperity, independent, self-sustained communities on every level, so that everyone in those communities is taken care of, looked after, and belongs and feels and knows that they're part of a community that takes care of its own people, it takes care of itself, and then exports that care and warm-hearted unity amongst humanity to all the other communities around them. So we're not creating intentional communities. All right. If you think that our intention is to create like a piece of land where we get a bunch of people to grow food and create like a hippie colony, and I always use the word hippie without being derogatory about people that love to live that kind of lifestyle. This is not what we're doing, because we've realized that intentional communities don't work. But I'll go into that in much more detail in the frequently asked questions. We're not creating bartering and trading communities where people barter and trade and exchange stuff. That is often a conclusion that people reach incorrectly. And we're not creating communities without using money. That has been a problem for many, many years, that people just jump to the conclusion, because we all know that money is the problem in the world and money is really the obstacle to progress. So many people believe, and even I did many years ago, that we should try and create communities without money. But that is not the objective. In fact, what you'll find is that we're doing exactly the opposite. What we ultimately are doing, the objective, the final objective, is creating communities in which money is not needed. There will be plenty of money coming in from our community projects, businesses, the co-ops, and everything that we do and implement in our town collectively in cooperating and collaborating. So that'll bring in millions and millions of rands and dollars and pounds and yen into those communities. But in that community, we will not have the need to use the money. So we are creating communities of abundance in which money is not needed, not communities without money. Right? Keep this in mind. There's a big difference between the two. The other important thing is to realize that the moment we have a community of this kind, it really takes us to a point where everything changes. Everything in our lives, everything in the socioeconomic structure of that town, of that community, changes dramatically. Where we live, how we build our houses, what materials we use, the engineering, the factories, the farming, how we grow food, what we grow food for, how we prepare the food, how we distribute the food, healthcare, education, how do we provide healthcare, how do we care for the elderly, and everything, every aspect of our community, and how we interact with it, how we use it, how we create it, how we bring it forth, how we invent it, how we grow it, everything changes. Our education system will change dramatically. Our skills and training will change dramatically, because everything we do in our community, in the One Small Town, will always be structured in a way that it benefits every single member of that community. What jobs we have, how jobs are created. Are we going to need jobs in a One Small Town community of abundance and prosperity? And you'll realize that even that changes, because the definition of a job, by nature, by what it really is to be a slave to the system, a slave to a corporation. So in our One Small Town communities, we're not really creating jobs. What we are doing, in fact, is we're creating work and opportunities to succeed for every single member of our community. Nobody is ever excluded, no one homeless, no one hungry. Everybody loved and appreciated for what they do and what they contribute to their community. and thereby creating communities of abundance and prosperity for everyone. What we are in essence doing is we are using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. You may have heard me say this before. You'll see this written in a lot of the documents that I've put out there. We use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. The number one tool of enslavement, obviously, is money. So we are creating communities where money is created in abundance through our cooperative projects, businesses, and activities. At the same time, we are using the other tools of enslavement, whether it's the law enforcement that is often used against the people, the courts, the lawyers, the banking system. All of that is used. We never oppose it. Our intention is never to oppose money. Our intention is never to oppose the legal system. Our intention is to use the current system so that we can create abundance and prosperity for the people of our community. So there's never opposition, never any reason or incitement of violence or conflict, and therefore we create communities of abundance and prosperity without the need for violence, opposition, or conflict by using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. So I hope that gives you a quick introduction, a broader perspective. I'm now going to launch into sequential videos of the frequently asked questions and the Q&A, and every question will have its own separate video so that you can watch that. You can watch it multiple times if you need to, for the penny to really drop. And what I hope to achieve with these videos is to get you on a journey of discovery and exploration and expanding your mind into truly embracing this philosophy, so that you yourself and everyone that watches these videos, after a certain period, you can answer all the questions yourself. And what you realize, without me having to tell you, and what you realize is that it becomes easier and easier to answer whatever question might pop up in your mind, as long as you implement the One Small Town philosophy, the very simple structure of it, how it benefits everybody, and how everybody is free to contribute their skills and talents for the benefit of everyone in the community. And yet, we allocate people for their 3 hours a week to perform certain tasks and functions that are desperately and always needed, whether it's cleaning the streets, taking care of the elderly, and so forth. There's always things that need to be done that in a capitalist system, we pay people low wages, cheap labor, and we exploit people to do those things. Where in our community, that is never going to be the case, because everybody is asked to contribute 3 hours a week so that we can fulfill those tasks while we have all the other things going on that are exciting innovations, technology, engineering, healthcare, education, whatever you want to do, whether it's breeding horses or building supercomputers. Whatever we choose to do in our community is possible because we choose to do it. And it's on that basis that we create these incredibly powerful communities where everybody knows everyone. No one needs to steal anything or be envious or lust or whatever it is that the 7 deadly sins. No more envy or hoarding or stealing or crime, because anything you want is available to you, anything you need. And you'll find out as we go through these frequently asked questions in this series how simple this really is. And I trust that you'll be able to answer these questions yourself very, very soon without watching any more of these videos. But what it does do, it does make it very clear, very quickly, that every single problem we face as the human race, every hurdle and obstacle that we face in our societies, in our communities, in our countries, we find solutions, very simple solutions for those problems in these One Small Town communities. And that, I believe, you'll find the most exciting thing, as I did, as I went on this journey in 2005 when I started this journey, asking questions, what would happen if money didn't exist? And slowly but surely, the pennies started to drop, and I started to realize that the moment we remove money or the need for money from society, everything becomes easier. all the hurdles and obstacles to progress and human achievement are removed, and we can truly liberate humanity and allow people's creative talents and skills and the natural talents that we are born with, allow people to put that to practice and actually use that for the fulfillment of their own lives and the joy of all those around them as they see the people put their talents and skills to use, that benefits not only themselves and brings joy to them, but to everybody else around them in their community that benefits from those people's skills, talents, and abilities. So welcome to the One Small Town Ubuntu Q&A and frequently asked questions. Over the last, since 2005, I must have taken more than 100,000 questions from people either via email or in workshops or in live presentations in more than 25 countries around the world. And what I can tell you is the more questions that I have been asked, the more questions we work through in the workshops, the multiple hundreds of workshops I've done in 16 years now, what it does, it just strengthens the foundation of the One Small Town philosophy. Because the more questions we ask, the more we realize how equally poisoned our minds are. There are ultimately 13 frequently asked questions. And you'll realize as we go through this, they might differ in the tone or how the question is posed, but ultimately it often refers to the same kind of subtext. People worrying about their own survival, worrying about the future of their family, worrying about crime, worrying about are they going to be secure, have enough food, and so forth. You'll realize that we're all equally poisoned because we keep asking the same questions over and over again. But it does provide us with a very exciting opportunity to break this down into hundreds of thousands of questions and realize how easy it is to solve any problem we have in the world today. To finish this introduction, I'd like to just remind you, since there are 13 frequently asked questions that I often refer to in my lectures, if we look at the world today, how many problems do we face every day? How many problems does our government face? How many problems does our municipality and the mayor face? How many problems do we face with our education, with our healthcare, with our transport, etc., etc.? The answer to that is millions of questions, millions of problems that we have to face. And what we find in the current system is very few of the problems we face today are ever resolved. In other words, it's an ongoing problem that just keeps getting rotated from one department to another, from one politician to another, from one administration to another, and very few of the problems we face get resolved. We might get a patchwork or a short-term solution, but we hardly ever find a long-term solution for the problems we face as humanity and in our communities. And what you'll find in these frequently asked questions and the Q&A is that when we deal with the problem in our small town communities, we deal with the problem so it is taken care of forever. And we never have to deal with that problem again. And if for some reason that problem arises again, it's very easy to deal with it because we know how to solve problems in our small town communities where we have figured out a way to cooperate, to collaborate, and to solve these problems so that everybody benefits from the solutions and not just those with money or power or in politics or the big companies as it currently is the state of affairs around the world. So welcome, thank you for watching this video and enjoy the series of frequently asked questions and Q&A session with myself, Michael Tillinger, and spread the message. Tell everyone about One Small Town. It is one of the few, if not the only solutions that we have for the world today. A world gone crazy, a world in which our freedoms and liberties are being attacked on a daily basis. And I truly believe that unless we introduce the One Small Town philosophy very, very soon to the world, we may find ourselves waking up tomorrow with all our liberties and freedoms having been stolen from us. So welcome to One Small Town. Enjoy it. Lots of love and blessings to everyone.